Mike Gross from LNPLancasterOnline.com at Lancaster Country Club, where they're going to be holding the U.S. Women's Open in a couple of weeks. And to my left is Jim Nagle, Lancaster County native, by the way, who is a golf course architect, restoration expert, has spent a lot of time working on this property. And we're going to kind of give you a sense of why we think Lancaster Country Club is a great golf course. We do think that, right, Jim?
Absolutely, Mike. One of the best in the country, constantly ranked in the top 75, top 50, whatever. It's been here for the last, 50 or 60 years in any of those golf course rankings. And there are so many reasons why, and that's what we're going to get into today.
Yeah, a guy named William Flynn laid this out over a century ago, or started working on it a century ago. And there have been changes that have made that have brought it closer to his original vision, and just some changes that we're going to show you. And this hole right here, the par 5 13th, is one of those. And we're going to go up on top here and give you a sense of what the golfer is going to be facing that was maybe a little different than in the past on 13.
And Mike, you mentioned William Flynn and the bunker right here beside us. It's important to note. And the reason this bunker is here, we call it a sightline bunker. A lot of drives are going to be behind us into this area. It's a blind shot up into the green. Flynn loved having things revealed in front of you.
Oh, right.
And so now we added this sightline bunker. It provides direction. It gives an idea to the players. Okay, this is the direction you want to take.
It's a little bit more viable to go for the green in 2 now with these changes. Is that an accurate statement?
There is. Right behind us, the last time here, we had another group of trees to the inside, which made this golf hole almost one-dimensional in the sense that you hit a drive, you were forced to hit a layup, and then you hit into the green. With the removal of the trees, added bunkers, some fescue, and this sightline bunker, now we give the opportunity for golfers to go for it.
And maybe it'll be a little bit more spectacular shot making in a couple of weeks with the best female golfers in the world.
Absolutely.
And here we are closer to the green on the par 5 15th, and we want to talk a little bit about the difference between renovation and restoration.
Okay, yeah, great. And we're up here on the 13th. So with the par 5 here, where I'm standing used to be rough and was never a part of play. We're standing amongst sort of a trio of bunkers, which William Flynn oftentimes he would do, duets, trios, groupings of bunkers. And so the inspiration for the 3 here at the top of the hill that recreate or enhance the shot value on this hole actually came from golf holes that no longer exist here at Lancaster Country Club. There were a series of holes that actually extended from the clubhouse down towards New Holland Pike. So we brought these bunkers back in and are using them in play. In other words, if there's a golfer who wants to go for this green or 2, or at least get a very short approach shot in, now they've got to challenge these bunkers and the fescue, and then they can get into the green. So in many ways, portions of this golf course were just restored as they were. You know, it is to restore. What is old is brought and made new again.
Sure.
But then renovation is where we come in and we use different inspirations, different styles that we might find on Flynn courses or here at Lancaster, so that we can incorporate something into the golf course that renovates it and keeps it modern. And I think that's the one important thing to mention about Lancaster Country Club. You know, hosting their second Open in 9 years, some changes were made. The club has always tried to keep themselves current in the sense of how equipment is changing, how golfer abilities are changing, maintenance is changing. Lancaster really tries to stay ahead of the curve, and the most important thing in all of that is they have never truly departed from their historic past with William Flynn.
Okay, Lancaster Country Club has a lot of great par 4s. A lot of them are you tee off from up, it goes down, and you go back up. This is a classic example of that, the par 4 14th, which these gentlemen think could be a kind of a signature hole in this golf course, and also maybe one of the tougher holes in the Women's Open.
Absolutely. You know, the biggest change here, and really these changes started in 2015 or 16. We actually started making sketches of what could happen with this hole. And 2019, Josh comes on board, really good golfer, had a lot of insight also and had some ideas. And so bringing Josh onto the team, we all started to sort of plan this thing out. Like, what could we do on 14? Because it was changing. This hole was becoming easier because of the advances in equipment and how this was changing. And so, now, and we were talking earlier, and Josh had some really good thoughts about this hole and why he thinks it could play harder. And I'd love to hear what he has.
Yeah, what you saw when you first got here and what you thought it could be.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Jim pegged it. This probably is the lone, well, I wouldn't say lone hole, but the biggest hole on property that was affected by technology. I mean, when you think about what they played in 15 specifically, it was the lone inside bunker, and the players were able to really take on the dog leg because there was no native around it. Now we have 3 bunkers here instead of just 1. So it really protected now it protects the inside of the dog leg, when back in 15 it truly didn't even play as a dog leg. And even after the championship, and you look at membership and me watching and studying the golf course when I first got here, players were just bombing it over this bunker. These ladies are so much better than they are in 15. They hit it so much further,
No doubt.
a lot further, and they don't really go offline much.
Yeah,
they're not like
it's
us,
much
right?
different.
Like they're not 20 yards offline.
They're different even than the PGA Tour guys.
Right?
in
Oh,
terms of style of
absolutely.
play.
Yeah, they keep it right in the same zip code. So, to me, I think it's going to be very interesting. I know I've talked to Jim a lot about this. I've talked to my greens chair Rory and even our pro Gibby, that it's going to be very interesting to see the tell of the tape. How the course played, pre-renovation in 15, the 18 holes, and how they stacked up. Number 5 was the hardest in 15. And now you look at the place now and, us reintroducing some bunkers, adding the native. To me, this hole right here is going to sneak up the chart.
The bunker depths changed. The further you try and carry the ball off the tee or carry the bunkers, the bunkers get deeper. There is a true penalty that's been reintroduced through the hazards. And I think that's why this hole has gotten so much better.
So we'll look at the numbers once the women get here and start playing. We'll look at the numbers, but these guys are predicting one of the toughest par 4s is going to be 14.